Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at some more Final Fantasy XIV mobile gameplay. Specifically, we're going to be taking a look at the Duty Finder, Party Finder, as well as some dungeon gameplay on its own. Now, I, of course, cannot play the Chinese beta that is currently ongoing. It would be very hard for me to have a Chinese IP, QQ, a Chinese social. It would be very tough for me to explain that if I were to somehow be logged into it right now. So instead, we are grabbing footage from Arthur's. He had said that I could just take his footage and whatever I wanted to make with it, I could. So I'll include a link to the VOD that I'm looking at in the description. And that's what we're going to be looking at in this video. Now, I've clicked through, but I haven't actually watched through. Like, I wanted to see, like, briefly, like, little snippets of, like, 15, 20 seconds. I did so on State of the Realm. I did so on my own time. But I haven't actually stopped to look at all the menus that come with it to see exactly what is going on. In fact, I clicked play and I didn't realize how close I was to it actually beginning, so I should probably back up a little bit right here. Unfortunately, I forgot that that is not how you back up on this. So it looks like upon unlocking the dungeon, which I'm assuming is what he is skipping through right here, that you gain access to the duty window, which is what this appears to be. Now, I wonder if this is because I wonder if I guess there's no guild hests, because I assume that you could have had that unlocked earlier. But this dungeon, I think the dungeons were like up to level like 12 in this. So I'm not sure, because guild hests would normally unlock at 10. So that appears to be the duty menu right there. And you can see there are some features that are unlocked. It looks like we have roulettes on the left-hand side, dungeons, trials. Let me actually translate it. Let me get the trusty Google Lens that has totally let me down a billion times before and see. Yeah, it just says, yeah, it says what it says is not useful. Trials, as well as Alliance Raid on the right-hand side, or raids in general, but you can actually see it is Labyrinth of the Ancients that is shown in the background right there. You can also see the Ifrit moon briefly, the like little background thing that Ifrit has that he pops out of. So you can see that. So yeah, that one's almost certainly trials as well. I'm assuming that it's just broken down into, well, actually, no, party size, that wouldn't make sense from what I know about the Crystal Tower. So we have him here in Sastasha, and this is the first time I'm actually stopping to look at this menu. So there's actually a lot to take in. First of all, you can clearly see the menu on the left shows the dungeon. That's Sastasha. There's a brief lore description of it, as well as the queue. So the queue looks like it has an item level of 11. That's what the like starfish looking symbol is. That's item level. He's on Thaumaturge, but there's like arrows pointing, which is the switch icon. You can see that over the class whenever someone's playing in the open world. So I wonder if you can just choose to queue on something else, even that you're not currently selected on. So that's interesting. And then you can see that it's 1 to 4 players can enter. It looks like anyone over level 10 will be synced down. And what is that last little bit at the bottom there? That says average grade. So you can't have an average item level of under 10 is what it's saying at the bottom. Also, so there's tombstones at the bottom there. And the translate says that that is a first time bonus. So it looks like you get, I'm assuming those are poetics, early on, even as you're leveling. So you can use some of those as you go. I wonder what that ends up actually being like, because I mean, I'd assume that that's, regardless of the level. I wonder if that could be a beta thing, like they could have it so you can test the tombstone system that they're making that here, but they could also just be retrofitting the tombstones to just be available earlier. I mean, you already have philosophy and mythology at max level in A Realm Reborn, and we saw in the menu in one of my other videos that those tombstones are there. There are the 2 other tombstone types. So, I don't remember. I don't know if those were the icons for philosophy and mythology, but that would be my assumption. But yeah, it looks like you just get tomes earlier. Bottom right, there's a symbol with a sword next to it. What does that say? Okay, the translation does not help at all with that. I wonder what this is right here. It says habitual on the Google Lens. Super great, right? And the bottom right one is the queue. So we come to the queue window right here, and you queue up for 5 instances at once. I believe that's normal. I'm pretty sure when you queue up for individual instances in 14.5 is the maximum as well. You can see the dungeon. You can see, what is the middle right one? Hey, Todd, I'm in the middle of recording. There we go. Job order number 8. So that's got to be the number of people in ahead of him in line. So, like, you know, there's 7 other DPS. He's the 8th DPS in line for queuing for this instance. And then you can clearly see the timer on the right, and that should be a less than 5-minute warning right above it. Yes, estimated time, less than 5 minutes. So this is all pretty standard, but I wonder, so because there's that job switching thing, I wonder if you can queue up for different jobs in the different instances here, because in 14 retail, you can't do that. Or would you be locked into being queued as the same class 5 times here as well? That's a question we still have for the future. Hopefully future footage that we look over will have a better answer. You can see he dropped down to 6th place. So he's not too far off from actually being able to enter. And it looks like he's checking out that drop down. So what do these different ones say? Habitual, challenge, and cancellation restriction. Challenge. What what does that do? Is he going to try it? What does that do? Challenge. Okay. He's clicked it. Is it just like, it still says it's level 10. So I guess this is undersized. I guess, because does that still say challenge? Does that say something else? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's level 10. Q's in. Yeah, it looks like it's just he's in the instance solo. The mobs are level 10, so you know there's nothing like fancy about this. And he dies horribly. What does that say when he dies? It's just that's just saying, do you want to return to the entrance? Is all it's saying. So yeah, just trying to do, I guess that's all it is. It's just an undersized equivalent. So like you can go in with whatever you have if you want to go with 2 or 3 people instead of actually queuing in. And the last one looked like it was the party symbol. It wasn't the party finder symbol. It was just like a party unlock symbol, which is present in the party finder, but the party finder symbol itself is something else entirely. Okay, well, I mean, at this point, he's just like going through and trying to solo the dungeon, which, you know, cool, but it looks like at the very least we can still see the clamshells are here with all the fire lights, so that still works, you know, largely the same. And, you know, he's making his progress, but I don't know how much longer he's actually going to go for this. Now, given that he actually has the ability to kite, because all the you know, Black Mage has the auto attacks that you can do while you're mobile. Every job does, the healers do too. You have an auto attack button effectively that lets you do something in between your other actions. I mean, realistically, he can just infinitely kite them back as long as he doesn't get hit. So that appears to be working for the most part. I don't know how long he's going to torture himself by going through this. But other than this, I mean, it does just look like Sastasha. Looks like he gets mauled by the boss, however. Because, yeah, the boss just mauls him. He can't kill that boss quite quickly enough. So it looks like he's looking for an option to leave the dungeon right now. And it looks like that option is that one at the bottom. It's just leave instance. Okay. And then queues back up. Oh, wait, what's that? Hold on. I skipped ahead a little too much. I feel like I almost missed something. Oh, this looks like it's duty support. Okay, so just let me read the line at the top to see what it says. Come on. I know you can do it, Google Lens. That's the name of the dungeon. And then, yeah. Axeman. Yeah. It's naming the type of, it's like a generic name for each of the characters. Yeah. So that's what it looks like it is. It looks like this is duty support. No, I guess we shouldn't be surprised. You know, even though it is a Realm Reborn content, we expect them to have like modern quality of life-ish things popping up. So yeah, it looks like he has an option for that. How did he get to this menu? I didn't see him click on anything. Oh, it was just one of the options there. So it looks like one of them is Duty Finder. So there's some symbols in the top right. One of them is the Party Finder symbol. The very top right one. Well, I guess the very top right one is the return button, but the one to the left of it, that's a different version of the Party Finder symbol. It's got 3 players next to it, and the other one is the scenario. It's like the meteor symbol around quests with I guess a player icon in the middle. So yeah, that would probably be the duty support symbol, unless it's this third option down here at the bottom, which if he doesn't select it, then there's no way to know. Okay, yeah, he just queues back in like normal. He's 10th in line. It gradually goes down, and when he's waiting on his queue, you can see the thing on the right hand side so you can go into your other menus and do some stuff. Looks like there's people making parties for other stuff. What are these parties for, though? Because I can't imagine there's too much in the beta that they could be for. Oh, it's tasks he doesn't have unlocked yet. They're dungeons, so, you know, they can't be too much further out. But, yeah, it's saying it's for a dungeon or for a roulette that he has. Oh, I can actually see... This is the party finder. I just realized he's looking at the party finder. I was like talking about it like it was the party finder. I wasn't actually doing that. Wasn't even like thinking I should read what these menus say, because there's 5 menus on the right-hand side. There's dungeon, mission battle, dangerous mission, treasure, and exchange. So exchange is the top one. I'm assuming that's like a player looking to trade items, because I don't know what the heck else it would be. This is a dungeon. These are duties he doesn't have unlocked yet. I'm assuming that's quest help. I don't know what you would get quest help with, because 14's quests are largely not, like, helpable. Maybe there's certain types of battles that they have in mind. But, I mean, yeah, it's just a side quest with a sword next to it. The one below that is Fates. And the one below that appears to be treasure dungeons, or treasure maps in general. So they have a decent number of activities here available. So, is that the roulette symbol, or was that saying that he doesn't have access to it yet? Because there's a question mark in the middle, but it kind of looked like the roulette symbol behind it. We saw the roulette symbol earlier, so it wouldn't be too surprising. Is that a roulette symbol right there? Come on, focus up. Phone? Come on, phone. No, it just says unopened task. So, I mean, it might just mean it's a mystery, but it looks very similar-ish to the... duty finder symbol, and then exchange. Yeah, I assume that's just for trading items. So we already got to see the first little bit. It looks like we get a little cue in right here. So when a duty is ready, which I assume happens in the next, 15 seconds or so, given I was skipping around, does it pop up automatically, or do you have to click it? Any day now. I guess it skips 30 seconds apart. There we go. It just pops up, takes over the whole screen, lets you know that whether or not the other players are ready, and then you click ready, not ready, either yes, no, or please wait, like you can in the main game. Now we get into an actual dungeon. We have a black mage in here, so somebody's a little further ahead. And I mean, yeah, this is dungeons. These are Final Fantasy. I mean, what else is there to say? This is Sastasha. I mean, I don't know that I really have to, I guess, comment on much about Sastasha itself. What's interesting is that the dungeon itself appears to have a follow me to go the right way option. So you can see, so in Sastasha, something that happens a lot in the main game is over in this other room, there's an interactable, and it tells you what to interact with for the first boss in order to actually activate the switch. And it looked like there was a quest tracker telling them to go that way. So I wonder if that's just going to happen the whole time, because, I mean, dungeons in 14 don't need guides for the most part. Like they don't need something saying what direction to go. There aren't very many options. You know what I mean? So it's useful in this particular case, but I don't know if that's really necessary for everything. I assume there's an option to turn that guide off. I mean, there is in the rest of the game. In the dungeon, I don't see an option to turn it off so that you don't get lost, I suppose. But other than that, I mean, this is Sastasha. I mean, what else is there to say? They're even doing big pulls here, man. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. They probably checked which one was right, and then they have the boss. Now, I have seen this. This I watched during State of the Realm. I watched them, like, just straight up obliterate the boss. And seems pretty simple, just gonna go fire, 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 and then blizzard, get MP back. I assume you don't want to fire 2, because that's what the AoE button is. I assume that would be better saved for trash. And yeah, I mean, what else? It's the Sastasha first boss. Like, what do you expect? I also saw this during the live letter, but during State of the Realm, but mostly after the dungeon was over. So anytime there's loot, there's only a 1-minute timer on loot instead of our retail timer, which is way too long. And you can pass all, or you can roll on items. So you can see he just literally clicked like roll on all. So he rolled on everything, and if he won something, then it would have gone to his inventory, and if he didn't, then that's it. You can see the item level of the stuff is 25, even though it's a level 10 dungeon, so I guess those item levels we were seeing earlier make a little bit more sense. We all know, this boss, nothing too fancy to say here, so, just gotta kill this guy until he runs away, and then you gotta pick up the loot again, and it pops up, and then you accept it. You do all that. And he won a piece, so it's asking him if he'd like to equip it now. So that's good. You can just very quickly get that equipped if you win a piece immediately. You don't have to go into your inventory and equip it after. Other than that, you know, a big thing with Sastasha is I can see the other sections of the dungeon are grayed out. I assume that's just because he hasn't gone down that way, so they're covered by fog of war. It looks like, yeah, they pass on through. Wait a minute. Did they not have to enter? Oh, no, they did. There's just he didn't step in the room, so it didn't get unveiled. I guess my question is, can you go down the side paths still? Yeah, it looks like you can still go down the side paths as well. One of them gets unveiled right there. But of course, you know, anyone who's done this dungeon a billion times knows not to do that, so they are not going to do that. It's just this boss died so quick, pulling them out of the room, that I barely even noticed that it had happened. Look, it doesn't even look like the room was locked. Like, they didn't get the key, did they? And then pick it up and then go. Because the key would normally drop off one of these guys. Looks like somebody ran up. Maybe this guy drops the key and somebody picked it up and went and opened the door. Because I can see the thing. Oh, it looks like killing that guy automatically gave them the key. That's what happened. Yeah, so as soon as that NPC who would normally have the key dies, they get a pop-up on the screen, and that gives them the key so that they can open the door, and then that person goes in and pulls the enemy, and then they just kind of blast through. Okay, okay. That's, I mean, I guess that helps speed things up and makes it simpler. That tank is dangerously close to dying, I can't help but notice. That tank has died, has received no heals, so that's unfortunate. But, you know, he didn't need that. We didn't need that guy. He gets rezzed, so, you know, that worked out, I suppose. And then they just clear through and they keep going. He's got weakness for a little bit. Notice that weakness doesn't show the timer on the party list, interestingly. Also, wait, they all have echo. Why? That seems largely, maybe that's a beta thing, but that seems largely unnecessary. It's not like they full wiped at anything. We didn't skip that pass through everything. Maybe that's why everything is dying at the speed of light. Goodness gracious. Oh, now he has it. I guess when the timer is over 60 seconds, it doesn't bother showing it. But as soon as the timer hits under 60 seconds, then it works. Other than that, just killing bad guys. What else there to say? These the same way we killed bad guys before. It's even got the boss cutscene. Dude shows up. Dude begs. Dude gets smacked around. And then you go in. And it looks like it's very... I mean, this is the Sastasha boss. They're probably just going to ignore all the greats. And Zerg the boss down. That tank could use some help. That tank could really use some help. Okay. All right. I don't know if they're being, like, healed, like, time and time again, or if it's just a regen. But I'm getting nervous looking at it. Looks like he's trying to round them all up while everyone else zergs it down. Oh, there he goes. He just shield lobbed that one. He's grouping them all up. Was that a caster LB? That was a caster LB, wasn't it? Where's the... Wait. How could that... That couldn't have been a caster LB. That was definitely a caster LB. Maybe you don't unlock LBs until you're on a job, because I'm looking for his LB and he doesn't have it. But that black mage has it, which is interesting. So maybe you need to be on a job to use your limit break, and classes can't. Maybe another way of dissuading people from trying to do stuff on classes. I guess after he unlocks jobs, I'll just have to see. Yeah, you can see what's an upgrade. I don't notice there's only pass and need. I noticed this during State of the Realm. This is one of the few screens I actually looked at. You can see that piece is an upgrade for Thaumaturge, but the other pieces don't seem to be beneficial for him, yet he can still roll on them. I wonder if there's any sort of roll association, because he just literally greeds everything, wins the ring, and wins something else, but I don't think he can use the other item, so I'm not sure what the value is on that. But I mean, that's a dungeon. I mean, that looks exactly as one would expect. I'm assuming we can skip ahead and probably find the second dungeon. And it looks like he noticed he had some tombstones there briefly. We found Tam-Tara, and Ivy is begging for attention. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like he has... So he went to the tombstone vendor. Does it show his tombstones anywhere? Yeah, it does. It'll show him in the top right. Hi, Ivy. I have a cat on my lap. Yeah, he got 50 tomes from that. So it looks like you can buy pieces as you level up. You can see like some are worth 320, but these are like the max level items too, or at least what were normally the max level items before a lot of these, the like onion shield and the gallant headpiece. Looks like you just grab your AF gear when you hit the appropriate levels with whatever tomes you actually pick up. But you only get a few first time tomes from playing through the story, and then you'll have to get the rest of your tomes from doing like roulettes and stuff. So, I guess we'll have to see, because after this, he should have the roulette available. Since we already went through the menus. This is Tam-Tara. I mean, what else is there to say? This is Tam-Tara. You know, you kill these things, the demon shows up, you kill the demon, you touch the thing, you interact with the thing, it gets rid of the barrier, you go to the next part. I don't know. I mean, I can't offer anything that's all too creative here, everyone. Like, it's Tam-Tara. That's not even a creative way to put it. It's just all that it is, you know? They're just killing mobs. That's it. It's just they're doing Tam-Tara. They interact with it. The mob spawn. Guess what? Another demon's gonna spawn. They gotta interact with both of the other things. This is the Tam-Tara boss. That means that there should be an imp with a tether pretty shortly into the fight. The arena's going to lock in 10 seconds, so that pop-up just showed up on the screen. There's the imp that's tethered to it. Then they're going to tab to it, and that thing got absolutely obliterated. Now they're going to go back to the boss. And let me guess, multiple are going to show up the second time. Oh, no, I think it's only one tether, but the skeletons show up the second time. Yeah, so under 60%. Should do the trick. Bam! There's another tether and 2 skeletons, and they are active, and they are gone. And guess what? Then they're gonna get to the last part, and guess what? At 30%, there's gonna be even more ads, and there's gonna be 2 tethers. That's Tam-Tara. Gets some loot, rolls on the loot, wins a new ring, upgrades it. Bam, done. Not much else to say about that. Should have 100 tomes at this point, and then we have to get all the way to Copperbell, so we should probably skip ahead there. It looks like he might get his job advancement somewhere here. So you get your job advancement at level 15. So the level 15 class quest should be what takes you over to getting your job. And it looks like he just learned a skill. He's just taking a look at the little preview menu here, but we looked at that in a separate video altogether. We will say this. It does actually explain the different levels of the skills as well. It looks like you can scroll through the higher level and lower level versions of the same spell. On the flare menu, he scrolls all the way down to fire 2. So you can get all the information about all of your level skills through the drop down. But the skills are still level dependent. So you're not going to be completely freed from that one. I'd assume he's going to pivot and go get his job at this point after just looking. Yeah, he just ran over to the Thaumaturge Guild. He's effectively doing his class quests at the moment. I mean, these are the Thaumaturge class quests. There's not much to take away from that. I sincerely doubt that much has changed in any capacity with those quests, because everything else has been largely the same. So goes out into the world. Looks for everything, probably. Don't you have to go to the cave and, like, fight something here? Well, he's going over to Eastern Thanalin at the moment. He's even doing a fate, which is... Oh, right. You have to do... This is the quest where you're supposed to use sleep to get to everything, aren't you? Oh, no, that's a different quest altogether. Yep, he spawns these things, kills them, moves on. There is that quest where you're originally supposed to use sleep to, like, run past everything, if I recall correctly. I remember if you didn't do that, the quest was, like, super annoying back in the day. Probably not so much now. But, Ivy doesn't hear as much clickety-clacking, so she's like, now is my time. Whenever she doesn't hear me constantly typing on my keyboard, like if I'm playing Path of Exile or I'm playing 14, she leaves me alone for the most part. But when she doesn't hear a lot of it, she's like, oh, so you have all the time in the world for me right now. And she hears my voice, and she can't distinguish between when I'm streaming and when I'm recording a video. So we get Cat. We get Cat on the lap. She's like off camera, so it looks like I'm just petting almost nothing right now. You can just barely maybe see her head poking out. And then you go all the way up to that place. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I noticed this in State of the Realm. There's ether currents for a Realm Reborn. You can fly much earlier in the game and in the story because of that, but there are ether currents in the Realm Reborn areas. Yeah, so he's tracking the quest. He's just going all the way up. I mean, yeah, this is the Thaumaturge quest. It's even giving him the little preview. Yeah, so this is the quest where normally you sleep the enemies. And just run past. I probably don't want to do that in this version. It looks like it's balanced around the idea of actually fighting them. These things were menaces back in the day. But this is a level 10 class quest, which means he still has to do the level 15 one. Looks like he got logged out and is logging back in, or is trying to get everything working a little bit better. Might have had like a quick disconnect from the beta there. He's going back. He turns in the quest. He accepts the next quest, and this is the one where you have to go to that cave, and you have to kill the thing. Right? 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 Man, I really don't remember the Thaumaturge quest very well, do I? Wait, interesting. So he does that quest and turns it in, but then he gets another one. So he's level 18 at the moment. Was that the Black Mage quest that he just accepted? What does that quest say? Does that just say quest accepted at the top? It would help if my phone would somehow read that and actually answer my question for me. Wait, that's not my Google Translate. That's just... that was just my camera. How did that happen? Yeah, it's just saying quest accepted. All right. So I'd assume that maybe this is... oh, you know what? Maybe the other one was a level 5 quest. Then he just did the 10 quest, and now he's doing the 15 quest. Because that cave to the northeast should be where it all resolves. He goes back and forth. Grabs a few of these. Talks to all the little fools over there. Yeah, and then it points him all the way to the northeast. So that he can actually do the solo duty where you have to kill all these things. Then you have to kill the gargoyle, I think it is. Oh, no, it's a bee. That's what it is. You got to kill the bee. No, the gargoyle is like the MSQ. The MSQ quest, the main scenario quest. You know, my favorite. Yeah, and then he hits level 19. Also shows you the important quests here. Looks like there's multiple quests at level 15. He's currently on one, and then he can do his Black Mage unlock right after. So he finishes this quest, and then goes on, and it'll give him his Black Mage unlock. And then we can see if anything in particular happens. Yeah, he's just changing his equipment around. Going forward. Ah, I forgot about this quest. I think this is the level 30 Thaumaturge quest normally, isn't it? And then Black Mage would be afterwards. Yeah, they probably condensed them all into just the 15 levels to give you the job unlocks earlier. And then, you know, you'll meet Shatoto and all that right after. Who everyone thinks is Shantoto. It's Shatoto. But, you know, it's clearly a reference at the very least. But I'm just trying to get through this. I was trying to go through this until we got to Copperbell. Now, did he unlock it already? Sure cast. He got roll action. Oh, yeah. There, here. This is him doing the Black Mage quest and unlocking, well, Black Mage. So, and then, yeah, now he's a level 21 Black Mage. So, yeah, you can get the job at level 15, and then these are all the skills. You know, this is the same menu that we've been looking at for the previous times. Okay, so probably want to do that as soon as possible, considering he could have done that before even doing the first dungeon if you had followed doing all the class quests as one would normally do. And I really have to sneeze, and I'm hoping it goes away, and it has, and I now regret that because I hate when sneezes go away. But for the sake of the video, I don't want to sneeze. So we can probably skip ahead. Well, I found it. Looks like we can go all the way over to Copperbell and see if this is the reworked Copperbell. I think it is, because I think I saw during State of the Realm that it was the reworked Copperbell and not the old one. So, like, the first boss will be the Tell. Yeah. So it is the reworked dungeon. So we can expect all the Realm Reborn dungeons to be their reworked equivalents to, I guess that's not really, again, not really a surprise. There's a lot of other things that are in the modern game that are available here, yeah. But, I mean, it's Copperbell. I mean, again, there's not much to say. We've kind of broken about all of the systems at this point and how they work. So, yeah, I guess the last thing to do is realistically to just take a quick look at Ifrit, which I also did during State of the Realm, which shouldn't be too much further. I think it's like somewhere right over here. There's that solo duty you have to do. And then you go and you fight Ifrit, and wabam. Yeah, there's that was the solo duty right there. This little bit right here. Yeah, I remember this one. Yeah, this one, that's a big one. And then immediately after, skips a few cutscenes, bam, on Ifrit. And yes, that does appear to open up the trial menu on the screen. Average item level of 27, 1 to 8 players. So this is a significant change. We noticed this from the gameplay trailer that Square put out, or that China put out for Final Fantasy XIV. That all the trials are 1 to 8 players, even the normal modes. So the Ifrit normal is 1 to 8, Titan normal is 1 to 8. And apparently even the Crystal Tower is only 1 to 8, I've heard. I'll have to look at that in a separate video, because that's not in this VOD, that's in a different one, and this is all I prepared. Yeah, even the normal mode has 4 of these. And I noticed during State of the Realm when I watched this part that even this part's at least a little bit different. A lot of the mechanics here are, they're not that much like hard mode. They're very similar to normal, but there are more eruptions. And in this part in particular, while you're killing the nails, Ifrit jumps middle and begins charging just eruptions all over the arena that players need to dodge while they kill the 4 nails. This is like a mix of normal and hard, because in hard mode, normally Ifrit would keep hitting the tank. There'd still be tank busters on them. There would still be eruptions on players. But here, Ifrit's just kind of like, all right, I'm going to make you dodge just a ton of eruptions all around the arena while dealing with this. It looks like there's also a countdown that's occurring on the screen saying how many seconds until until Hellfire is finished. And then when you actually finish it, Hellfire itself just goes off, and then bam, you have the rest of the Ifrit fight. So overall, I mean, it's Final Fantasy XIV, which shouldn't be a surprise, but I think most of us find that it is. Most of the standard quality of life for dungeons and the party finder, even duty support, the way that need and pass. It's still weird to me that there's roll and pass and nothing else. No need or greed versus just roll or pass, because he's just clicking need all, and he couldn't even use some of those items, or at the very least they weren't upgrades, which I guess isn't that big a deal, but like it's probably better to have at least a roll based like maybe if somebody else passed and he rolled, but yeah, maybe that's how it works. Maybe he rolled on everything and other people passed on those items, so even though they weren't for him, he won them. That would make sense. Because maybe it's just like, if you are the roll that can use the item and you click roll, you have priority over those who roll on it who can't use it. That would be a kind of replacement for need over greed. It's just want, need, and want, like want can equip and want can't equip. And it effectively accomplishes the same thing. But that's, I'll have to look a little bit deeper into that. But hey, yeah, that's Final Fantasy XIV mobile dungeon content. I don't know how much more specific things we need to look at when it comes to 14 mobile. I got to look through the rest of the footage. I haven't had the time to do so, but I'm going to have some time over the next several days, so I will make sure I get that done and get to you any videos that I deem necessary. We also have Chaotic next week, so that's going to be a fun time, and expect a handful of videos on that as well. So anyway, that's going to be a wrap. Thanks everyone for watching. Remember, there is a link to this VOD in the description. This is Arthur's footage of his experience playing the Chinese beta for 14 mobile. And of course, when the English version, I'm going to see if I can get in the Japanese version. Maybe I've got like Japanese like accounts for some other things, so maybe I can make that work. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes, but I'll do what I can because I want to make sure I get this coverage to you guys as soon as possible. But thanks for watching again. Be sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more Final Fantasy XIV mobile stuff, and of course, more Final Fantasy XIV retail stuff, and just generally Final Fantasy stuff. That's how I do, you know? So I'll see you in the next video, and until then, take care.